I really don't want to exaggerate when I say this, but I think that the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, let me make sure I say that right, might be the best HD 2D game yet that Square Enix has produced, and I'm trying not to exaggerate. So for those who don't know, at the Nintendo Direct that we got recently, the partner showcase, Square Enix ended off the show with two brand new HD 2D games that a lot of people were downplaying as looking the same or being exactly the same. And I completely understand. HD 2D is not everybody's cup of tea, especially if you didn't grow up in the NES and Super NES era. If you grew up in the N64, PS1, GameCube, and all of that, then maybe these old school, these classic Super Nintendo or NES RPGs are not your thing. But I will say this. If you like old school Zelda, if you like old school action RPGs, and you want a new twist on this, this is what The Adventures of Elliot is. It is exactly that, and it is fantastic. And listen, I've played every single HD 2D game. I've played Octopath Traveler 1, Octopath Traveler 2, Dragon Quest 3, I've played the Live Alive game, I've played all of them overall. And yes, HD 2D games, they have typically turn-based combat, and they have announced a number of them over the past 5-6 years at this point, 2018, so around 7 years so or plus we're going on HD 2D being a thing. But I'm telling you, this might be the best one, because this takes so many elements of all of these great classic franchises. For example, The Legend of Zelda, old school 2D Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, for example, Secret of Mana, if you've played the Secret of Mana game on the Super Nintendo, Expedition 33, and I know there's lots of games with parry systems, but that's the game that people always talk about. So there is a sick parry system in this game. How about Ys, the old school Ys games, action RPGs, and of course, Octopath Traveler itself, the patented HD 2D gameplay, or look more like it, the graphics and all of it. So all of that combined creates a really cool action RPG that's very different from all of the other HD 2D games and sets itself apart from that. So let's get into it a little bit more. Now, there is, once again, a demo. Like I said, you can go download it right now on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's not on the Switch 1. I had to be corrected on that. It is a Switch 2 game, and thankfully it is, because it looks beautiful. You play as this adventurer named Elliot in search of treasures and secrets to bring back to the city. The city is protected by the Queen's magic, but outside of the city, there's a bunch of beastmen and monsters that lurk. But inside the city and right around the barriers of it, you are protected by the Queen's magic, so beasts can't get too near into it. But of course, you need to get resources, you need to rely on adventurers in order to bring things back to the city, and of course get the secrets of the past humans that used to live outside of there to not be constructed to the city. So it's just a really cool thing. Once again, if you've played The Legend of Zelda, you have the princess, you have the king, you have that setup. But to me, I love how they just kind of get you right into it. So let's get into the most impressive thing with this, guys. We're going to talk about so many different things, but the gameplay here is great. This is the type of gameplay that I felt that Square Enix could do with a AA, or I would say HD 2D type of game. It doesn't always have to be a turn-based RPG, which we've been getting pretty much since Live Alive and Octopath Traveler 1, Octopath Traveler 2, Dragon Quest 3, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. Like, all of these games, once again, are really good, but also turn-based. Now, they actually mix things up with a brand new IP overall, and you have different types of weapons. You have bows, you have swords, you have a sickle, you have alt weapons like bombs, and so many different type of things that you can use to explore the environment, but also fight enemies as well, kind of like the dual purpose, for example, like the Legend of Zelda top-down 2D games. Now, if you want to cut down every piece of grass that you see to get money, like rupees like you did in Zelda, you can do that. If you want to use bombs to find secret paths to go to little dungeon corners, you can also do that. It's got this parry system, like I talked about Expedition 33, other games, parry system right before the enemy attacks. You can hold the shield button and it'll stun them. So I do love that about the combat, because it creates a cohesiveness and the sound effects and the flow of the combat and how it just feels to play. Like I said, feels so good overall, especially if you were adventuring out in The Legend of Zelda with Link in A Link to the Past or in Link's Awakening or A Link Between Worlds. It has that feel to it, but in some sense it feels a little bit better, and I would say more in depth with the combat than any of those games. Now you can also, once again, like I said, use bombs to find the secret paths. I like stuff like that. That's obviously environmental types of puzzles, in addition to finding secrets and being able to get really cool weapons inside of these dungeons. And also the townspeople will tell you like, hey, if you go over here, or if there's a certain type of item over there. So it lets you know like, okay, if you explore, if you adventure, you're going to be able to find different types of upgrades for yourself. So I really like that. But I think I talked a bit about how it feels good to parry, it feels good to strike enemies overall. The sword play is really good, and that to me is so important, and not feeling kind of like paperweighty. A lot of these 2D Zelda type of games feel like your strikes have no impact. They feel like you're just like swinging around like a wet piece of cardboard to hit them with your sword, but not the Adventures of Elliot. You feel very impactful, you feel strong. It has really good HD Rumble 2 implementation with the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller, or even better if you have the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons. Feels great to play overall. So for me at least, I was very excited to really kind of jump into the gameplay and feel that impactful strikes with the HD 2D Rumble, with the pairing system. It all just really flows well, and once again plays great on that Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller as a console game on your TV, in addition to a portable game, which I did play it portably as well, and it still runs and looks great too. So definitely good. I like the fact that they showed you in the demo already there's going to be small dungeons, there's going to be big dungeons, and there's going to be little challenge areas overall that'll get you permanent upgrades and will get you different types of rewards. So if you see them, make sure you go and do them. These are all the little things that just keep the game engaging, along with the game being beautiful to look at. And of course, finally, when it comes down to this, man, this is something I've been waiting for a long time, at least with Nintendo Switch. Finally, 60 FPS with HD 2D, which has been a problem with Square Enix and the Nintendo Switch 1 getting that to go at 60. Octopath Traveler 1, Octopath Traveler 2, Dragon Quest 3, all of these are at 30 on the Nintendo Switch 1. Now they are at 60 on the Nintendo Switch 2, so that is definitely good. And we also see in the demo that it seems like there's going to be a graphics setting adjustable, so that will also help out when it comes to the smoothness of the game, or what you want to turn on or not to look as good or not, or have a performance mode or a quality mode that you can kind of tweak. So definitely good stuff here. Glad that the Nintendo Switch 2 is able to provide that over, because that was one of my biggest pet peeves with the Nintendo Switch 1, is that we're getting HD 2D in 30 FPS. These are turn-based RPGs for a lot of these other games, so 30 FPS was like okay, but for an action RPG adventure-ish type of thing that this game is, the 60 FPS for me is definitely needed overall. Absolutely great there. Let's talk about the controls, because you can have all of the impactful strikes and HD Rumble and 60 FPS and all that stuff, but if you have bad controls, then it's not going to be a great experience. But I'm happy to report that the controls are buttery smooth. Anytime you press the button, the strike comes out. When you want to adjust when it comes to moving around, you can. When you want to use your different types of powers with the L or with anything with your fairy, you can as well. And I want to speak a little bit about that fairy, because I thought that fairy, when I was watching the Nintendo Direct, I thought that fairy was going to get annoying, like Navi at times. I thought that it was going to be like, oh, it's going to be another fairy following you around. We've seen this before, that just gets kind of annoying and stuff. We had it in Metaphor ReFantazio as well, but to my surprise, the fairy's actually surprisingly charming, and she has her little face there in the bottom left-hand corner, and she's cheering you on. She's picking up stuff for you. She's stunning enemies. She's very capable. So I actually do like the fairy in this game, which is great, you know, overall. And I think that there's going to be more, I would say, intertwining features that the fairy has. She plays an active part in the combat and in the adventuring of them, because you can get different fairy powers that you need her to activate. So I did think that it might be kind of meh overall with her, but the fairy's actually pretty cool in the game as well. Next up, we got to talk about the music, the presentation, the quality of life features. And I know it seems like I'm saying everything is just like perfect with this, but it's a small slice that I've played. I don't want to ruin everything for you guys if you haven't played it when it comes to like the bosses that's in there and some other stuff. It's a small slice, but honestly, it looks like they took everything that they learned from all the different HD 2D games and everything that they've learned from other adventure games like Zelda and Secret of Mana and other stuff, and they kind of put it all together into a AA Supreme HD 2D package overall. But the music, presentation, quality of life is great. You can access your different fairy powers on a quick menu, just like Secret of Mana back in the day. Different settings when it comes to items, quick use, and it pauses everything so you don't have to worry about getting cut up or getting hit while you're picking something. So they really thought of a lot of different things before we even give them feedback. And I'm sure there are some things that are off, or there are some things that you can give them feedback on in terms of making better in the game. But man, they really made sure to bring their A game to this first initial demo, as this is going to get feedback from us, and then they're going to make it even better. And I'm guessing there's going to be a second demo that actually transfers over, because this one doesn't. But the second demo, once they actually apply some of the feedback that we give them, that will be able to go to the game when it actually launches sometime, probably in early 2026. So definitely great. But the music was fantastic. I love the music in the dungeon out there when you're adventuring. Everything just sounds whimsical, but at the same time sounds, I would say, majestic and exactly what you would expect for an adventurer type of game that feels like an RPG or feels like more like a Zelda soundtrack or Ys. It just kind of has every type of, I would say, great tune, and with the sound effects and with the game playing, it just feels right at home playing through on this game, especially if you grew up in the Super NES era, man. It is awesome, but it has all of these little modern touches and these little different things from other games that says, okay, yeah, they're also putting in modern aspects of action RPGs or action adventure games into this title. So very good overall, very excited when it comes to the menus and how fast that you can get in and out of different things. The UIs and fonts are really clear and easy to see. I also love that the character designs are great. I mean, from Triangle Strategy, that's another great HD 2D game. That character design was awesome. I felt that was pretty much the best character design in any of the HD 2D games is Triangle Strategy, and I'm not sure if the Adventures of Elliot is as good as that, but I do feel that in terms of Elliot himself, that is definitely one of the better designed protagonists overall for any of the HD 2D games, right up there with Serenoa, right up there with, I would say, Erdrick from Dragon Quest III and how they designed him again, right up there with pretty much all of the greats when it comes to the character designs in the HD 2D games. So really liking how sharp-witted he is as well. Sharp sense of justice, in addition to being a great adventurer, also with that confidence that he knows that he's going to get out when it comes down to it, and that he can take on any challenge as long as he has his fairy with him, in addition to all of his great combat instincts and abilities. So very good overall. Love the English voice cast too. That was also great. So I'm telling you guys, do not sleep on the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. People were trying to downplay it a little bit on Twitter, saying that it looks just like all the other HD 2D games. There's fatigue from it, but I'm telling you, this game plays different. This game will make you feel different about it. If you like 2D Zelda, Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, these type of titles, this is going to be the game for you, especially if you also like games like Secret of Mana. I talked about that before. So it gives you a little bit more, and there's multiple difficulties from the beginning. I hate when there's not a hard mode in a game. So this one does have a hard mode. I'm expecting this to do really well on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm expecting fans to try it out after more people get a chance to play the demo and more people actually talk about it. Like I stated before at the beginning of this video, I don't want to exaggerate, but this ultimately could end up being the best HD 2D game yet that Square Enix has done. And man, they really did a great job. It is fun to play, and it brings back that adventurer spirit that I had playing games, 30 years ago on the old school 16-bit wars when it comes to the Super Nintendo and all that. And even the 8-bit wars a little bit as well with certain RPGs and everything and certain adventure games, the original Legend of Zelda and all that. It's just exciting time overall to be a Nintendo Switch 2 owner and just to be a fan of action games, action RPGs, adventure type of titles, because this one, they did a great job with it. And I know that some people, like I said, have fatigue with HD 2D, but to me, when you do the game right, when it's good, and I would say having the ability to finally play it at 60 FPS portable on the Nintendo Switch 2, to me actually makes it a bit easier to play, and actually wanting to play it more as HD 2D, yeah, on a big 4K screen, that type of graphics, you might want to play something kind of a bigger AAA type of thing, but being able to seamlessly transition it from TV to portable mode for this type of game just fits so well, and why I think it was imperative that Nintendo provides something when it comes to something a bit beefier, so they can get a similar type of vibe when you play an HD 2D game on Xbox or on PlayStation or PC, for example. So it's it here, man. Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. This game could review and do really well, and I think that this could be one of the better selling HD 2D games on the Nintendo Switch 2 platform when it releases. And of course, it's multi-plat too. It's coming to Xbox, coming to PC, coming to PlayStation. So the demo right now is just on the Nintendo Switch 2. We'll see if it comes over to other platforms. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales? Have you tried it out yet? Are you going to try it out now? Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite aspects are of the game. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.